Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Greatman Ayilara, and this is the Seekers platform where we will talk about things that have accumulated over the time to become uh, the major content of our existence today. And on today, we'll be taking you through historical monuments of how we exactly got to where we are right now. Maybe as an individual, as a nation, as a continent, as a race, or as people. Now, many times people will reach out to me and tell me that you seem very confusing as a person. Your life is pretty much not really worth emulating because you keep shifting. You keep shifting. And when they say I keep shifting, what I hear in my mind is that I keep improving, I keep upgrading. Now, this is not meant to make my life an example for you or to make my life a bookmark for you to follow, but for you to realize that there is only one thing that is constant in life, and that is change. Now, this very change that we are talking about, how do you embrace change? It is by being flexible and making yourself available for information. Information is the transportation system from where you are to where you have to be, or where you want to really be, or where you are supposed to be. Now, it is very easy for someone who went to school, read all the books, badge a PhD, a doctor, a professor, to still feel like he is not knowledgeable, he doesn't understand anything, and is oblivious of the mystery of life if he does not have understanding of just one book, even though he has read all the books in the world, even though he has tested all the waters in the world, and he has even been given what we call award for it, has been certified to be a learned person, will still feel intimidated and also feel surprised if he has no understanding of just one singular book. And the irony of life and the way the universe has been peddled upon is to make people who knew about just one book to think that they know it all. Those who read just one book for all their days and all their life feels they know it all. While those who have read many books in the days of their life think they do not know anything. Now, what are these books? This particular book that if you have not read, you don't feel understand, you don't feel like you understand life, you don't feel like you are complete. Not because really you are not complete, but because you have been programmed to think otherwise. Now, there are two different versions of this book. There are some who are not as popular as these two. I talk about the Korean and the Bible. This is the reason why you will see a professor of law, a professor of science come to kneel down for one person who has never been to the four wall of a conventional or academic school for prayer. And if this person say, drink this urine, it will make you whole, even a professor in medicine will drink a urine just because the one who knows just one book told him to do that. And he constantly or immediately invalidate all the books he has ever known. Does that make that one book right? Does that mean that this one book is viable and beautiful and all? No, it doesn't. It only states to us that mankind are constantly willing to be subjected to every form of change. mankind has programmed themselves. They were the one who coded this lifestyle for themselves, that no matter what I believe in, no matter what I've read so far, no matter the level of my understanding and my imagination or my exposure, I am constantly going to allow myself to be ruled and to be governed by the minority few who are actually fools, just because they mention one singular thing, and that is God. The fact that someone mentioned God can suspend the brain of a person who knows beyond even the universe can offer. And is this something that is far fetched from your historical background? No, it is not. Why? Because you were conquered, you were defeated, you were made to subject your willpower to some selective few people on this planet Earth who believe that they are the chosen generation, they are the royal priesthood, and they are the progenitor or the propagator of the will of God. And another way, they call it Allah. Now, these people will, now you are coming to the understanding as if these things is something that is that is worthwhile, something that is worth emulating. You will almost think now that what you embrace, you are living your life for right now, is something that is so beautiful. Now, when they were giving you this particular chain, what they call it was salvation. They call it salvation for you. And this is what they told your ancestor. They told your ancestor that without this, they cannot access their creator. That whatever it is they have known so far in life, without this particular one, it is impossible for them to please God. Now we go ahead and keep talking about these things. I want to pose a question to you. Before the advent of either Judaism, before the advent of Christianity, before the advent of Islam, how were your ancestors assessing whoever they think created them? Was the question of hellfire, heaven above, Al-Jannah, Jahannama, paradise, and all of those things, was this something that mankind debate? Were we seated around a table? Were we constantly going to a sanctuary? Were we constantly going to a mosque of a place of gathering with money in our pocket, coming back home empty pocket, just to discuss and debate the event of our afterlife? Have you ever bothered to think about that? That before the advent of all this thing I will call a man-made doctrine, man-made decision, mankind was not particular or giving it a thought about where they go to when they die. So they were existing and living as human with primary goal and objective of being human. And the best religion for mankind then was simply humanity. Now, religion now, I must tell you, there are two type of things the ancients practiced then. They practice knowledge and they practice what you call religion now. Now, the time they use in debating the supernaturals, the divine ability, divine reality, is like 2% out of 100, while they use 98% of the rest of their time talking about knowledge. Now, what was precedent or most prominent in those days of the ancients was not even what you call faith now. The religion that your ancestors were practicing from the ancient Egypt, the upper Egypt, the lower Egypt, before the amalgamation of the old Egypt. What they were practicing as religion was science, knowledge. They were practicing knowledge. Now, mankind was practicing knowledge to be able to establish the constellation signs. Now, it was not the European, because sometimes when we blame religion, we are quick to blame the European. Well, we can blame the European because major chunk of religion in terms of Christianity came from Rome. As a matter of fact, the Jewish people never even imposed their own religion on anybody. So whatever it is that you saw in your Bible was well written and coordinated by the Roman folks to make them look like the superpower of the world that is operating in a silent mode. Now let's go like this. The ancient Egyptians located in Africa, your father, my fathers, the ancestors, either in Yoruba land, Igbo land, and all that, they were so spiritual, they were so divine, they need not an extra God to make them live their divine reality on earth. And how were they able to come across spirituality or divine ability? It is through science. What is science? Majority of our people, young people of nowadays, do not even understand the meaning of the words they use. Science simply mean one thing. Science simply mean knowledge. Knowledge can only be arrived at through information. It is through the search of information and knowledge that mankind stumble upon spirituality. Because I wouldn't know what I'm capable of, I wouldn't know what I am able to do if I never find out for myself. So in those days, mankind began to look at the bull, look at the sun, begin to formulate the constellation sign, begin to know, okay, this is the age of the Aquarius, the age of the Pisces, the age of this, the age of Sagittarius, the age of this. Because of the event of things, mankind was able to come together and formulate season, time, weather without the intervention of this external religion. Here in Africa, it is not again saying that the first civilization occurred here in Africa. The first university was started here in Africa. We were so filled up with knowledge, like the water filled up the sea, that we became an intimidation to other race. As a matter of fact, we were living with the consciousness that we are the only race in existence. So we do not have someone to come to our aid. Now you see Nigeria, South Africa, all the African nations looking for foreign aid. We were living without thinking of alternative or going to tap into foreign exchange or foreign aid. We were the best aid the world has ever experienced. Everything called light, everything called beauty, everything called knowledge, everything called science emanated from us. And the least of us is wiser than the best of them. But what happened? There is a need to conquer this nation, just like a superpower fighting for who is going to control the economy of these days between China and USA. For the people of the future generation, I record this for the purpose of those who will be coming alive in the age of the Aquarius. This is the 5th of May, 2020, the year of the coronavirus pandemic. We are at war, but in the midst of it, we are able to still record something down for you. The superpower of fighting for who is going to take charge of the economy of the nation. Now, from time immemorial, the luck, the success, the highest rate of being successful in life has always been on the side of those people who do away with gods. Why? Because God is powerless without the input of man. And there is nothing God can do on this planet Earth without man, which makes me go to the logical reasoning that man created God. If today we make an idol for ourselves and we worship it, because we agree that whenever someone do this against this, you must do this. The law, the response of the God is totally dependent on the agreement of man. So tomorrow we do not want this God again. So we unanimously vote and we say we do not want you, and the God cannot do anything against us because we created God, we can undo God. And every nation that has taken over or gotten to the point of their success and retained these sources has been nations who did away with God. Not because they are lawless, not because they are labeled as atheists, the way you label them. You are quick to label them, but because they put on their thinking cap and they choose to embrace what they call responsibility, not waiting on external body, the aliens, the UFO to come to their rescue. They were not looking up to the hills for help to come to them. But these people saw that if we leave these folks to go at this speed rate, they will be as intelligent as the universe itself. Now we established that this planet has been in existence for billions of years ago. And mankind has been in existence for 200 million years ago. Now, look at the quality of mankind on this planet Earth. Compare it to the existence of the planet Earth. You realize that we are way below average. Even we are not even above anything at all when it comes to intelligence. But we were beyond this before. It seems as if the more we emanate from ourselves, the more we procreate, the more regressing we become, especially the people of the black color, the African people. Now, these people saw that the power to be God is inside of you. We were God on earth, and we choose to be even God when we die. So the pharaohs built pyramid for themselves and made sure that it is having this particular shape of maintaining the same diagonal center with the sun, because they believed that the spirit of the pharaoh will plunge into the sun and the sun will shine on people. And so pharaohs and those who are dying in Africa then can also create an afterlife and continue. We brought the concept of afterlife for these people. The reason why pharaohs are being embalmed is because we believe that they can come back to life again and they will need a body to survive. The science of embalmment, the science of dead body, preserving dead body, the science of beauty, the curbing of diseases, the best of the antibacterials and all that. We created it here. Now look at the way we are right now. Is this what our children will come to inherit? So these people saw that if we leave them to go at this rate, we will be slaves to them forever. And the invasion started. The invasion started not even as exploration of the waterways. No, I'm not even starting my discussion with you from 16th century or whatever it is. I'm starting with you from before Christ was created. I believe you already know now that Jesus was a creation. Yeah, a creation of man like you, just like God was created. Now, hear me now. There was a man who existed in my tribe. His name is Shango Olukosua Yaraina Inodudu Inalenua Bakata Yeri Yeri. That's the way they psych the guy so that Oriemawu, the head will swell up. Now, when he was alive, there was documentation of him. He's a man of science. Now, think of Shango more of a scientist, not of a voodoo practitioner. And what happened with science is that science can be reproduced, can be recreated. All you need to do miracles through science is information, the hypothesis, the theory that was well documented. So if something is scientifically true in Nigeria, it will also be scientifically true in America. So our ancestors were scientists. In this time, it took the whole of China many thousands of years, many hundreds of centuries, to be able to discover how to make the rain come by themselves. So they do not even run with the normal weather. They know when to that they can make the rain run now. They can do anything they want to. They can strike whatever it is. All they need to do is to enter the cloud, pour some chemical, and the rain will fall. But before China got this scientific breakthrough that was documented, someone like Shango had that scientific breakthrough. He could control the lightning, not because he's doing voodoo, but because he knew the science the understanding, the knowledge of how to do it. So it could make the rain fall, it could make the lightning bolt. But because at that time, the science is not common. Science now knowledge, it was not common. So to some people, it was a miracle. If I'm talking to you right now, the way I'm talking to you right now, in many years ago, it will be a miracle. But because it is common now, everybody can access it. So it is not spectacular anymore. When this man died, those who follow him can still replicate his miracle till today. Are you with me? Those who follow him, those who understand his way, can replicate whatever it is he did today because it was pure sharing of knowledge. He passed it down. That is a proof that such a man existed in our world. We cannot prove if he disappeared or whatever. We know that men died, and people exaggerate things, especially when they want to tell you to God. They say you disappeared, but his existence was proven. Now let's go back to the person of Jesus. Jesus walked on water, and he turned water into wine. How many people who believe in Jesus, who follow Jesus, have done the same exact miracle till today? Not even these modern day followers. Let's start from the apostles. How many of the apostles were able to replicate what Jesus did, walking with water, turning water to wine? How is it that the easiest one, that is a general phenomenon, is what all of them capitalize on as miracle today? Raising of the dead, healing of the sick. Is that all? I've been in a hospital bed where no pastor lay hands on me, but because I worked on my mind, I got my healing. It is called psychosomatism. Psychosomatism. Psychosomatism work with the instrument of placebo. Placebo is what they call faith. See the way religion rewrite science. So when they give you goya oil, that is a faith. That is a placebo. When a babalawo give you water, that is a placebo. Who is doing the miracle? Not the water. It is your belief in whatever they gave to you. We've seen people who have gone in coma for years, who came back alive without being prayed for. Shall we call those things miracles? Those general phenomena, those biological error, mismanagement, reoccurrence, can we call those things miracle? The real miracles, when they take them to the morgue, were they able to raise the dead from the morgue? How many pastors have you seen who went to the morgue and tell all the people in the morgue to rise again? Now compare what they were able to say they do because Jesus existed to what those who worship Shango and the rest did when they claimed that he existed. You will realize that one was actually in existence, the other never existed at all. One existed, the other never existed. Why? Because of the proof of what people could replicate regarding them. The passing on of science, the passing on of knowledge, the passing on of understanding, that even if I am not here, you can replicate what I have done. Now, these people saw that you are powerful. I do not want you to see racism as something that is on the surface. Whoever racially segregates you, whoever racially discriminates you, is scared of you. And you will be thinking that their parents do not talk to them of how powerful you are. You will think that your parents, the parents of the white folks, never talk to them about how powerful you are. Check history till today. The best of the scientists, the best of the mathematicians, the best of every beautiful thing in the world, the starter of almost all the things in the world. Talk about music, talk about science, and you will find an African person there. Why do you think they are killing your parents? Why do you think they are subjugating you to oppression? Why do you think even in their country, having fulfilled all the law, they make you a second-class citizen? Why do you think they point gun at your sons who are blacks and get them killed? Someone is very scared of what you are capable of. Someone is paranoid about who they want to take over. And why do you think in Africa, when they come to Africa, we treat them with respect, we love them? Because we have this great self-esteem in us. We are not in competition with anybody. We survive. We are alive. We are not trying to get a life. We are not trying to receive life. We are alive. Are you getting my point? So when you put it on the pedestal of complexity, you realize that these people only segregate, discriminate against you because of the fear they have for you. They are scared of you, simply just scared to death about you. And the only thing they could do to someone they are scared about is to take their life. Now, I tell you what happened to Malcolm X, what happened to Luther King, what happened to all these wonderful folks who started the revolution to reignite and reinitiate mankind with the Africans into their former way of life and default setting. Every single black who was there to press the reset button in the mind of an African person get killed. Talk about Lucky Dube, talk about Bob Marley, talk about the rest of them. See how they gunned them down, how they put them down, how they silenced them. Someone is scared of you. Now, you don't have to raise children to feel bad because of the way they are treated. You raise your children to make them know that when you go out every morning, there is a white boy, there is a white girl, there is a white man in the White House there who is very scared to the teeth because of you. So be mindful of those who are scared of you. They will do anything to kill you and outsmart them. Talking about the Crusaders and the Jihadists, I needed to lay the foundation. This is the part one. Contrary to your belief and what you think, Christianity and Islam did not come to Africa with a smiling face. No, no, no. Christianity and Islam did not enter. The advent of Christianity and Islam did not come to Africa with a smiling face. It's a matter of you either serve our God or we kill you. The papas, the popes, the Council of Nicaea, all those people who call you demons, who are themselves have yielded to their negative aspects, came together and they look for a way to spread their tentacles. They are looking for ways to occupy more land, either directly or indirectly. And the singular instrument of religion, through war and sword, was used. So your ancestors were raped at gunpoint. Your mothers were raped with a tree, with a stick. They were hung on a tree. If there's anyone who should take credit for being hung on a tree, it is you, the Africans, what they did to you. We will talk about what we did to ourselves because we also compromised. But I'm saying that today, what you say that you are in love with this, you cannot do with this, with you are faithful Islam, you are faithful Christian, you are this and that. It is just you telling your ancestors who died in the course of these things, this invasion, that they died for nothing. And have you ever wondered? Have you ever bothered to think about it that the wealth of every nation goes to the supreme religion that governs the nation? The wealth of a nation goes to the religion that governs that nation. And all these religions are foreign. That's why when you're looking for your wealth, you look for it in those strange land. Don't go to Swiss bank to look for your looted fund. Go to Israel. Go to Saudi Arabia. Don't go to America to look for your looted fund. Looted fund. Go to Israel. Go to Saudi Arabia. There are some folks called the Crusaders. The Crusaders were the militia arm of Christian religion then. empowered bitterly by the emperor of Rome. What it means to hold the crusade that you guys hold right now in a public place where you shout, Wagba, 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 Jesus, that's not crusade. That is not what crusade means. Crusade means forceful capturing of territories by sword. Forceful capturing of territories by sword. Let's take a look even at one word called evangelism. Evangelism came from the Latin word called evangelion. Now let's no Latin. Is it Latin now? Greek evangelion. Now this evangelion, the meaning in plain terms means the good news of military victories. Are you with me? It simply means the good news of military victory. What you call today gospel, and you say it is good news, was never gospel, was never good news. It was never ever in the favor of your ancestors. Now, the report they give to the emperor is called evangelion, the good news of military victory. We have killed people here and we have imposed taridion on them. Send the good news to the emperor. We have captured this land and we have installed our priest here. Send the good news to the emperor. So this thing is called evangelion, which means the the invasion of legion, the invasion of legions. They forcefully, at gunpoint, at the point of a sword, captured your ancestors and told them you either believe in our God or we slaughter you. It is either you follow our God or we slaughter you. So when they came, they didn't meet your ancestors as empty, null, or void. They met your ancestor in their prime state of spirituality. That's why they call their own gods the gods of the ancestors, the pagan gods. And this is one thing I want you to know. Most of these knights, is it knight or knights they call them, those warriors, those swordmen? Most of these knights come behind the back of their brotherhood cult to come get power, spiritual periscope from your ancestors through divination. Now, you met some people who say we already know ourselves. We can tap into the realm of the seen and the unseen. But you chose that no, they must see the seen and the unseen through your own lens. So you kill them. And you see, these people called knights or these people called crusaders, they have their own cult. It is a cult, it is a brotherhood. They were bounded or binded by blood, and their oath is to the king. And this happened at your expense. They hang your ancestors and told them to change their names. They hang your ancestors and told them to renounce their faith in the pagan gods. So now I have taught you once before. Now I'm going to remind you a refresher class within a few minutes. What is paganism? What exactly is paganism? Is paganism something bad? No. Pagan simply means native. Forget about whatever Google tell you. Pagan simply means native. Pagan means local. Pagan means traditional. Pagan is like saying the aboriginal or the original, the what we met here. So they say the God that has been in existence, which they call the pagan gods, is idols, are bad gods. So their own God, which is a junior to your ancestor gods, suddenly became the sovereign God and the Almighty. And the way they impose it on you with stories, with fables, with war, with sword, with killing, with raping, you will know that this God was the creation of one man's personal vendetta. One man who has inferiority complex. One man who kept telling you that one single nation out of thousands of nations in the world is the royal priesthood, is the chosen nation, is the only nation that God is pleased with. One man who is struggling with inferiority complex. Look at that God very well. That's for Christianity. That's for Christianity. And one thing people do not know is that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam only learned from the Jewish people. He learned the old system of Mosaic law. So either you are Muslim or Christian, everything you're practicing still boils down to how Abraham started this religion. Whatever you practice is traced back to Abraham. And Abraham only do adaptation of the concept and the idea of the rest of them. So when you read Quran, you will not see much difference between the Old Testament of Bible and the Quran. Are you with me? So the same vengeance, the same force, the same we no go greasy, the same you must do my own, you can find it both in Christianity and Islam. And when Islamic people want to do theirs, they did not call it crusade, they call it jihad. So when you hear jihad and you think you are scared that those people fighting jihad are bad people, I'm telling you that even you doing crusade, you are also evil. And the aim of the two things, the aim of these two movements is to conquer the African, the black nation. Need I tell you that there are different sects of them? We have the Maccabees, we have the Jesuits, we have the movement of holiness. We have different of this dangerous set of people still in existence today. You either follow our God or we kill you. I'm telling you, the way Boko Haram is there in the northern part of Nigeria, we still have some Christians who fight war for their God, whose zone is just to kill anybody who does not confess Jesus. Are you with me? Now look at how free is this salvation? How is this even salvation? How is this salvation? How can you in heaven and on earth, in water and mami water, call this salvation when it is what when this thing was something that was shoved down your throat to be received at all cost? So in jihad, there are two different types of jihad: greater jihad, lower jihad. Greater jihad talks about war that you fight against yourself. Even those who practice Judaism and Christianity also say you must first take away the speck in your own eyes, the log of wood in your own eyes before you take away the speck in the other person's eye. So also greater jihad is about the jihad you fight against yourself. And the lower jihad is the jihad where you kill other people to believe in your God, where you see other people who do not follow your Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as infidels. And there are rules and procedure of fighting that. None of them comes without a blood. I mean, none of them doesn't come without a bloodshed. So there's a part where you have to go and evangelize to people willingly. If they refuse, there's a part where you have to put a tribute on them. If they refuse, there's a part where you have to notify them to sword themselves up. You are bringing your own sword also and you fight to death. How is that even a religion of peace? How does that even make sense to you? And this is how Egypt was captured. How is it that Christianity, both Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, faced Egypt squarely? Because they know that the wealth of information that will restore you back to the first setting is in Egypt. So Christianity tells you not to go back to Egypt. While some part of the Bible tells you, don't go back to Egypt, some part of the Bible tells you, from Egypt have I called my son. And in the time of Alexander the Great and the rest of them, the way they burned the biggest library in the world located in Egypt, occupied the place. That's how Egypt came to be an Arabic nation. And the Egyptians, you see them in that Egypt today, they were not the real Egyptians. Egyptians were not they were not some kind of fashion model with some pointed nose and some very fierce skin. They are robust people. We have their history. So they tell you that Ramesses died in the Red Sea, but then Ramesses is Ray, the oldest pharaoh that ever lived in Egypt, and his tomb is there. They told you that Moses was raised in Egypt, but when you go to Egypt, tell the archaeologists to give you all the stuff they have discovered so far. You will never see the story of Pharaoh. So I'm saying that is it time for us to now think? Is it high time for us to now begin to think like human being, like someone who is normal? Or shall we continue to be a slave? Because none of this religion, either Christianity or Islam, was brought here for your own good. It was a way to do human trafficking and also human resources trafficking, mineral resources and human resources trafficking. And all of these things were conjured, written in such a way that we are to even call our own children a Jewish name. We now to have to name our own children Islamic name. How many of the Islamic people in Saudi Arabia are naming their children Badinyanka? How many of them call their children Chidi? So they told you that they are the one who knows God, but you have been called Chichi, Chioma, Chidike, all of these things before they came. How did your ancestors know about the existence of the universe? So your ancestors will always tell you that go and worship your own chi, worship your own God. Even in the same house with children of 15 and all that, parents keep telling each and every child that you have your own God. Go and consult your own God. Go and serve your own God. Everybody wants their own God. This is their own God. Until the concept of God became something that is going to be managed, administered by some selective people who are rogue, who are thieves, who are stealing from the public, who live a luxurious life at the expense of the masses, giving nothing back. Are you with me? So you are quick to call your sons, your daughters, Elizabeth, James, Peter, Paul, Saul, the rest of them, Barnabas. How many Israelites are naming their children Engunleti? How many of them are naming their children your own name? But slavery is a bad thing. You don't have a will of your own. You don't think for yourself. You are living the manifestation of several years of investment into your slavery. So when the chain in your hand was taken away, you melted it, you turned it into a necklace. And you didn't even wear it alone, you gave it as an inheritance to your children's children. So when we talk about these things with you, you call us Antichrist. Who the hell is Christ? Who the hell is Jesus? Who is Muhammad? Who are these people? Who are these people that they should call division between you and I? That when I speak to you, you kill me because of someone else's God, a God that is located many miles away in another nation with another color. So you practically just condemn the Oshun festival, the Oshun Osogbo festival in Nigeria, but you will save thousands of naira to visit the Sea of Galilee in Israel. But if I ask you who is a fool, you say you are not the one. You will say you are not the one. You will say those who are bowing down to the idol, to the shrine in your village are evil people. But you will save millions of naira to go to Mecca, to go and bow before a Kaaba. Have you entered the place before? Have you entered what is inside before? So when I ask you, who is a fool? You say, you are not the one, no, you are not a fool, no. I wonder who is. I don't bow to anything. Either the gods of our fathers or the God of their father in the Lord. I don't bow to anything. No, I have passed that phase and that age to bow to anything in this world. The highest thing I can bow to is the divinity in you. And that's because I know you are a God on your own. I respect you, I love you, and I would rather serve you in humanitarian work than to serve God. I would rather serve you than to serve God in my life because you are what I can see. I've never seen God. I don't know him. I don't know it. I don't know it. I don't know what. It's foolishness for me to invest in something I cannot prove. I can't prove there is God in existence, but I can prove you are living here with me. So if I wait on God while I ignore you, I'm a fool. So we talk about Arabic words. You call your child's name Mistura, and you never knew that Mistura is a key, is a key holder, something they use to open door. You are quick and proud to call your son Kabir. You never knew that Kabir is ladder. Ladder. You call your son ladder. Ladder. When there are names like Ade Dolapo, crown has mixed wealth together. Beautiful or something. Beautiful or something. It's pathetic. Your parents, your ancestors, at gunpoint was captured, given two options. Either you bow to our God or we slaughter you. Some of them prefer to be slaughtered. They were too confident. They were too egocentric to live like slaves. If the dead bodies can see what is happening right now, they will be in tears for you. So I do not know. Someone say, when you came out of Islam, you came out of Christianity, where is your confidence? Why are you standing alone? Can you be all wise and all that? I said, I don't have a gain in I can't be deceiving you and be going to bed at night. Every single one you watch their videos, every single one you go to their church, all of these bishops, these pastors, all these your reformers, they know the truth. But how many of them can survive this jungle experience, this wilderness experience, this hunger of their ego if they begin to tell you this truth? How many of them can survive it? Because they know the moment they begin to tell you the truth sets you free. The moment you are free, they become alone. But what will it profit me to gain your attention, to lie to you that Jesus died for you, to lie to you that he walked on water, that he turned water to wine, that he did all those fiction stories? What does it take me to tell you that Allah is the greatest and cut away with your money? After all, I don't believe in heaven or hell. They don't believe in it too. That's why they do evil and make away with it. Why do you think a pastor who is raping your daughter, sleeping with your wife, killing your young men, is calling Jesus boldly? Because they know there is nothing in that name. There is nothing in it. I could stay in my house and call Shango several times. Nothing will happen because I did not apply power to it. So also when I call Jesus. So all these things are placebo. There are people, the moment they mention Shango, something begin to happen. I mention Shango, nothing happened because I don't put my faith in it. If I don't put my faith in it, it doesn't work for me. Who is more powerful? Is it me that apply work to it? Is it me that apply power to it? Or the name ordinary itself? I'm the one that is powerful. If I say Shango is not my God, it can't have power over me. So those who call Jesus see miracle, those who call Oya also see miracle. Are we saying they are both miraculous? No, you gave them power. You gave them power. But because these people know the power of human mind and how powerful you are, especially as an African, and how spiritual you are, they mess you up. Maybe some other time we'll talk about, in the next part, we'll talk about this story, the Crusaders, how they came, the jihadists, how they came, how we were really conquered. This is the foundational aspect of it. But I'm saying, would you keep passing this necklace, which is a chain in actual fact, a mental chain to your children, to your children's children? I'm telling you, if we keep up this way, you will never return back to the number one in the world. And no matter where you go to, when a white man calls a black man James and he answers, he knows already that this is a confused animal. When a white man calls you Paul, Shahid, and you answer, he knows that I'm dealing with a slave. So come here. So the moment you begin to, they began to look at you from the perspective of a non-entity. Practice something. Turn out on the streets of New York with your full regalia. If you are Yoruba, put on your agbada. If you are Igbo, put on your nechi. It says that you want to bear your name. They will come beg you for a selfie. They will come learn at your feet. But you are the one throwing everything away. What else can we do? What else can we do? What else can we do? So the highest we can do now is to say to ourselves, is this how we're going to keep living? The life we are living right now, is this what we want to pass across to our children too? Can we be proud of this? Can we tell them that we live a very good life? Can we tell them that while we were existing, we did what needed to be done? Is it possible for us to leave a good legacy behind? Can we accurately tell our children that you are a human being, full human being, not an animal? Can we even tell them to go out and make us proud the way we have lived our life? My name is Greatman Aguilara. You can follow me on all my social media at the Greatman Aguilara, both on Facebook and also on Instagram. And if you are yet to be on my YouTube channel, Greatman Aguilara on YouTube channel, press the subscribe button and also the notification button. This is not a journey to make you become rebellious. This is to make you realize who you are. And you are better than what you are, what you think you are. Remember that you are the light of the world. Shine everywhere you go to. You are the salt of the world. Preserve life. And you are the very word of life. Namaste.